And I mean, I remember, if I don't remember anything else, I remember my dad, and this is just for people that may have been there. This isn't me saying this to be, whatever. My dad literally was talking to God as if it was his homeboy, which also speaks to the level of relationship he has with God. And he said, he had to remind him, you gave me a promise. If you can't hold up on your end of the bargain, I can't hold up on mine. I need my son. My situation was growing up with my entire family had a God conscious, but on my father's side, it was more real churchy type of feel, you know what I mean? Which was good, had its place. And my mother's side was real blue collar, you know what I mean? And again, my grandfather was Baptist, you know what I mean, and went to church, and to his dying day, you know what I mean? And my grandmother was Catholic, but yeah, man, yeah. My mother's side was real blue collar, get up, go to work, do what you're supposed to do. And so for me, as my life progressed, I found my place outside a little bit. By the time I was 11, because we talking about, we said where I started with outside, I was 8, you feel me? And still the entire time from 8 to 11, we still going back and forth to church, you know what I mean, type of feel. My mother had us going to Bethel. Bishop Evans was really making moves, you know what I mean? But then he passed, sadly, early. And that's when things really started to change. And as a result, we weren't going as much as we used to. So to tie into, fast forward what you asking, by the time I'm like in middle school when we met each other, in high school age, because it all kind of was the same thing and rolled in to one another. It was just more so of, again, being outside, seeing people live a different type of life and enjoy themselves in the process, you know what I mean? Like, church growing up, it'll make you think everything on the other side of the wall, you know what I mean, is wrong. Church has a culture to it, you know what I mean? And I didn't really ascribe to the culture, and I didn't really relate to the culture. I related to the God that the culture was trying to connect to. My mom's always said, when I was younger, Cam, know his Bible, you know what I mean? Because I always been about God, know your word, you know what I mean? Like, I won't go and read encyclopedias and dictionaries and not take a few minutes to read the Bible too, but I just didn't, certain things that just mattered to church people and church culture just ain't, it ain't matter to me, it ain't resonate with me. Bro, so my cousin and I, he was always the drink. I really ain't like alcohol, I always thought it was nasty, but like even the smell of it, I ain't even the taste it. I was like, it's nasty. But my cousin was the drinker, and he used to always be like, it was 2 drinks back then, Grey Goose and 99 Bananas. Now it's crazy that I'm saying Grey Goose and 99 Bananas because they like light years apart in terms of like at that time, Rockefeller talking about Grey Goose, nobody talking about 99 Bananas, my fault, anybody talking about 99 Bananas. But we was just standing on his front, and he had a shorty of 99 Bananas. It had to be like, maybe like, I was like 16, 17. Which means my cousin was about 18, 19, 2 years older than me. And he was like, bro, just taste it real fast. That junk tastes like the worst Sprite ever, because it got to burn like it's carbonated, but it's nasty, like straight drinking rubbing alcohol. I wasn't a fan of it. It wasn't until maybe around late 22 that I decided to drink again. What I always say is, the enemy's so dope, bro, in terms of how he handles his job, because the enemy couldn't get me to drink through my friendships with my homeboys. My issue in wanting to be accepted came by way of women. I always had this, I struggled with acceptance and a certain degree of of promiscuity with women was concerned. And so me trying to impress a woman is then when, of course, it became about, alcohol. Things happen in levels. And when you think you okay and you can handle your exposure, your exposure becomes greater. And then your exposure continues to grow. And your exposure grows faster than your experience and your ability to be able to handle it. And so when I was about 22, I got, it was this girl I was talking to, and I was just entertaining it. It wasn't nothing serious per se at the time, and she was a drinker. And so I'm like, I'm a smoke, I'm chilling, and she was like, well, I got some Verdi. It ain't even that serious. Just drink it, you know what I mean? Just drink it. Which honestly, if you be real, sounds like what? Like, you won't really die. You know what I mean? It's a serpentine spirit talking at that time, but you're not really thinking that. And so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try this Verdi. And it went from Verdi to, oh yeah, I got this red wine, sweet red Southern Homes. Just hit this. All right, cool. You there in my bed, and I just want, I got other things on my mind, so it's gonna get us back. And then it went from that to that jump. Let's sit this Remy. You feel me? By the time I am entering into my 23rd year, my Jordan year, I'm excited. I'm drinking heavy. I'm philandering heavy. I'm dealing with this chick, dealing with this chick, dealing with this woman, all over the place. And then still dealing with the young lady as well that introduced me to drinking. The same woman that introduced me to drinking invited me out to something that I didn't really want to be a part of. She consistently sent the invite. I consistently turned it down. The day comes, and I was like, but I'll pick you up from it when it's over. You know what I mean? And maybe we can hang out, have a day together. And she ends up calling me, telling me that the event is over. And when I get there, the event in terms of the party, I mean, people, we go to weddings and that's what it was, a wedding. We go to weddings because we want to see, people be wed. You know what I mean? We here for the love, that's great. But what we're really here for is the reception. Like, let's go have a good time. The reception was just starting. But when I got there, like I said, I was in a tee, some jeans, sneakers, fitted type of feel. And I wasn't comfortable with the situation. So, what do you do when you're not comfortable? What people say, so I can get a drink. I remember going to the bar twice. Yeah. I don't remember anything after that. Actually, people had to tell me about how the night went. I was there until the reception was over, drinking the entire time. So now I'm blacked out and I'm still drinking. And this is how you know you're in the company of people that don't know you and don't have your best interests at heart, including the individual that you're dealing with. No matter how much you may have laid with them, they ain't know you. Especially if they wasn't for you, they're not going to know you. Sometimes that access is spiritually blocked. They're not supposed to know you that way. They still giving me drinks and I'm gone. It's in the middle of the day on a Saturday. And I mean, it's so much traffic all over the place. And I'm just bipping through this traffic apparently. I don't remember. I can't tell you. I'm blacked out. What's wild about that is I make it home, I fall asleep apparently, or whatever the case may be. Hours go by. I don't know what I did. I just know hours go by. And this is why I made a reference of how these things are usually spiritual. Because who I was with versus me leaving her abruptly once I'm drunk enough to have that liquid courage, me leaving her abruptly, eventually I ended up trying to get to the woman that I'm married to today. And in between leaving that girl, making it home, and then talking to the woman that I'm married to today and trying to get to her, had an accident. What I could say for myself is for me to rationalize it spiritually. I believe it was realistically a kind of a representation of what God will allow to happen, but also will set boundaries for regardless of what your strive or intent is. Because I was leaving a woman I wasn't supposed to be with, that I told consistently that I didn't want to be there with, or whatever the circumstances, but I was still doing whatever I wanted to do to please my flesh. And so thereby bringing about different scenarios that she wanted to implement, and I didn't want to be a part of that. And I'm in an environment I shouldn't be in, so I'm doing stuff I shouldn't be doing. And now I'm in a scenario I shouldn't be in, and God's covering me, like I said, for the grace and promise that he promised to someone else. And then I am still going to be so defiant. And you made a good point. We said God spared you twice. He allowed you to get home. He didn't take your life. Insult to injury, if you want to jump into that a little deeper, police didn't pull me over. I mean, there's so many things that could have gone wrong, right? In that scenario, but they didn't. And then I make it home. But then it's like, oh, you still going to leave out? But then there's a dichotomy that exists, because it's like, I want to leave out in the wrong way to get to the right place. And so what happens on the journey, because I'm trying to get to the woman that I'm married to, that I now cleave to the woman that 11 years ago I was absolutely in love with in a lustful way, and didn't necessarily understand how I should maybe operate to even have that woman. So I was going into that situation trying to use old tools to build a new thing. But on another note, it's like, okay, you're trying to get to where you're supposed to be, but you're doing it in the wrong spirit, which is case in point, the Lord loves a cheerful giver, because it's fine if you give, but I don't care if you do what I told you to do if you're doing it with an attitude. Like, but how many times your parents tell you, fix your attitude? Why you like, well, I'm putting the trash out. So I say that to say the Lord, I believe, intervened, but he intervened in a way that would wake me up but not take me out. And so I think that God gave me so many chances that night. I'm taking that long trip, I'm going all the way out there, and I end up taking the wrong, well, not necessarily the wrong way, but missing my turn, if you will. And right where I missed my turn, I ended up flying off a cliff, 70 yards. So all of this time has passed. I've had every opportunity possible. And then I still want to be defiant. But I'm being defiant while I try to get to the very thing that I truly believe is supposed to be for me. But I'm going about it the wrong way. Which speaks to the fact that, again, you can be chasing your destiny all day, but if you're not necessarily doing it the way that God has designed, there is disruption and you will become disgruntled. And so I was trying to get to her. I had an accident. Car flew 70 yards. Went into a riverbank.
911, what's your emergency?
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this moment for all of my life. Oh Lord, can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh Lord, oh Lord.
It's been about 11 years and some change. I ain't really had no reason to come here, but yeah, it's crazy. And just looking at it, I know it's nighttime, so it's kind of hard to see it, but like, you know what I mean? I guess they were technically saying I flew 70 yards from the street, but projected that, you know what I mean, projected the vehicle to go further or whatever, was the impact in the riverbank. So you can kind of see, like, right here, you feel me? I was traveling, of course, coming, and I just didn't make the turn. Or at least apparently I was trying to, and I can't even tell you, man. I was so inebriated, so gone for real. But car flew 70 yards, or my car flew off the road, went into the ditch, and had such an impact. And this ditch is maybe only about 20, 30 yards, right, from, and this is kind of how cars come down, if you can see. See that, cars driving by, so cars come down here all the time. But, you know, bottom line is, yeah, bro, it's kind of weird being here, like I said to you in the car, I don't really fully remember everything, but your brain is just a memory card. And so, you know, with that being the case, I could sense the anxiety, but you know, it's kind of like, what for, right? I don't even remember. I don't even know why I was getting anxious. I just know that there was a certain level of anxiety that I was experiencing, and yeah. I wake up, I am in Sinai Hospital. I have every cord that ever existed. I mean, I'm talking IV, that cord running from me, everything short of a catheter, HDMI cord, this is good, charger cord, everything running across me. But in all seriousness, I wake up with all of these different attachments, of course, intravenous stuff, and they, I wake up and I say, what happened? I don't even remember. I wake up and I say, what happened? Nobody's by my side, no one's there at all. And they say to me, yeah, you had an accident. So the nurse just breaks it to me, like you had an accident. And it flashes for me in that moment, me kind of tumbling around, you know what I mean? Because that's probably the moment that my body was like, oh no, it's going down. She tells me that. I look at myself like I'm literally like neck brace on, everything, I'm laid stiff. I look at myself, I bust into tears, bro. Like, and it was so many mixed emotions. Why don't I remember? I can't believe this happened to me. Oh, I'm alive. I've never been in anything like this before. Where's my family? It's Sunday morning. It's 8:30 something. I'm supposed to be on the drums. Like, so much stuff going through my mind, right? This was so crazy. Nobody was worried about where I was because I was out so often and didn't come home so often that it was just another Sunday morning for them. Then I called them and told them, like, yeah, this was going on. Everybody rushes to the hospital. And because it's such short notice and everybody's finding out right then and there, like I said, I'm supposed to be on the drums. My father finds out while he's in the middle of getting ready to do his sermon. And that's what really messed me up when he and I talked about that. Like, I was like, you kid, Daddy, you ain't come to the... And he's like, he said that, I didn't know. What happened? You good? And we both, two grown men that pride themselves on being cool at all times, having one of the most emotional moments. And I've never seen my father pray. I've never seen, not to say this isn't his regular vibe, but I think it's good for children at least once in their life to see their parents warfare. Like, that was the first time I really had an opportunity to see my dad. And I mean, I remember, if I don't remember anything else, I remember my dad, and this is just for people that may have been there. This isn't me saying this to be, whatever. My dad literally was talking to God as if it was his homeboy, which also speaks to the level of relationship he has with God. And he said, he had to remind him, you gave me a promise. If you can't hold up on your end of the bargain, I can't hold up on mine. I need my son. And that just healed so much in me while also hurting so much in me, because I hurt my dad to that point, you feel what I'm saying? That he had to really step to God as a man, which means probably God had to step to him as a God. They had to operate in fully of what their creation is to figure out just what the hell was going to happen in this moment, which is why I always say, I don't believe that God gave me anything by extension of any promise or grace to me. But I watched my father warfare. I don't think it cost me anything. I don't. Again, it wasn't my grace that my survival was charged. All right. Furthermore, I don't think it cost me anything because what was being cultivated over time, like prey to the devourer. Because remember, we talked about how gradually these things occur. Verdi, oh, try a little sweet red. You know what I mean? And try this Remy. We had Fridays. Anybody that know about Fridays in 2011 probably is part of my church and people I'm called to. Fridays on Ricestown Road to be exact. But man, all of these things, I think, while that was happening and all of that, I think it was all a part of God's plan. I wouldn't even be here. You know where I would be probably if I hadn't had that accident? My wife and I talk about this all the time. I just told you maybe a little while ago, man, I was getting invited to the Bikini Bash. I just dropped the album type of feel. I don't even know if I'd be here. The thing that almost killed me actually saved my life. So I don't think it cost me anything. I think, again, it was charged to my family's grace. I think God looked at me being preyed upon and me being, the old saying, old folks used to say, the Lord blesses babies and fools. Lord knows I was a damn fool, for sure. And God gave me grace in that. So I don't think it cost me anything. To look back on it now, I've gained everything and I've acquired everything. My employer is phenomenal. My habits are extremely different. I'm married, have 2 kids and 1 on the way. I'm an ordained minister now. You know what I mean? Yeah, we all human, man, and I hope this really makes somebody look at it and be like, I didn't know that, or yeah, I did know that, or he ain't lying. But the point is, I just hope that it just, I don't know, what I'm leaving the people with is, this is me, you know what I mean? To tie it all together, to be honest with you, we'll do that at the end of the road. You know what I mean? We'll tie it together in my obituary, but right now, my life still be red.
This is a wild game of survival.